y'all. It's Thursday, which means it's almost Friday. Very excited. It's been a very annoying week at work, and I think it's mostly because it's been nice out. Don't ignore my nonsense I have going on in my living room. It's kind of my catch-all room right now, while I work through a bunch of projects. But anyways, today is hot. It's hot. I think it's about 80 degrees, if not more than that. But it's hot. I'm not a summer person in terms of like, I don't have a summer wardrobe. I really don't know how to dress in the summer. I like sweaters, I like pants, and it's just hot. It's hot, and the air conditioning in my car is not working, so I'm gonna have to fix that. In my two previous cars, have had issues with the air conditioning, and I didn't get it fixed, and this is not the car that I'm gonna do that with. This car should last me another 20 years, hopefully. So I'm gonna get it taken care of. Hopefully it's a really simple fix. I feel like it's going to be. I just went to go get chicken food. I was just about out, and those girls would yell at me. So I had to go get chicken food. And while I was there, all the plants are starting to come out, so you know I gotta look. And I just went to a local farm store here. It is a chain, but it's a newer chain. They just recently bought out another chain that originally owned that place. And they had first of all, I was impressed with the price, and I was impressed with the variety of trees that they had. I don't have one, I didn't bring it in with me, it's outside, but I'll show you when I go out there. They had evergreen trees in 1-gallon pots for $8.99, and they had like every kind of evergreen you could imagine, and I wanted to get so many of them, but I really don't have room for them on my property, and they get to be 30 feet tall, which is just way too big. The one I got is a dwarf Alberta spruce. I do have one in front of my house, and I have 3 pillars on my front porch, and so I put 2 dwarf Alberta spruce in the middle of each kind of like section, and one of them died because that area of my yard does not get like any moisture because it's under the eaves. I don't know, it's covered by my roof, essentially. So one of the spruces did die, and then I was more diligent about watering the one that survived. You know, I was really just itching to get a tree, so I ended up getting another dwarf Alberta spruce, but I also got that specifically because it has spruce tips on it, and I follow a lot of people from Canada, a lot of people that live in Alaska, and I know that you can utilize spruce tips, and it never occurred to me until just when I was at the store getting this tree that I could use those. I'm not going to use them this year probably, just because I'd like to read up a little bit more about what exactly I would like to do with them if I was going to harvest them. And also I want to give the one I just bought a chance to establish before I'm, pulling anything off of it, although that might be beneficial. Maybe I should research that a little bit more, definitely before I start harvesting anything. But I noticed that my other one that I have planted is actually putting off a lot of spruce tips as well. So I'm really impressed with it. All right, Sven decided he needed to join me in here. So if you hear panting, it's this old man that did something to his nose. I'm not sure. But anyways, just thought I'd share that little tidbit about spruce tips because I thought that was very interesting. And then also, as I was driving out to the farm store, I have an app on my phone. I think it's called Merlin Bird ID. I might have gotten that wrong. I'll correct it here if it's wrong. If there's nothing here, then I'm genius. But it is an app that can identify bird sounds, or at least it tries to identify the bird sounds around you. And I've just been, at certain points, whenever I feel called to do so, really, I've just been letting it sit there and listen to all the birds, and it's come up with quite a few that I've either never seen before. It's how I knew that there were cedar waxwings in my area. Never had seen them before prior to this weekend, actually. I'm still very excited about that. They're so cute. I'm finding that I really like the birds that have like a robber's mask over their face. They're just so cute. But I saw those cedar waxwings, and then it was also telling me that it was hearing a yellow rumped warbler, I believe is what it was called, yellow warbler of some kind. And then I probably should have looked this up before I started talking about it. It also said it was seeing, I think it's called a great tail grackle, something like that, something tail grackle. And I do have grackles in my yard. Grackles are just blackbirds. I think they are related to crows, or, you know, that family of birds. And I could see that because they do make a similar sound to crows and ravens in a way. But this particular grackle I had never seen, and I thought maybe I had seen them flying over because it's a very, very distinct tail shape. And I wasn't sure because they were always really high up, but I had a feeling that's what it was. And then as I was driving there, I actually saw a whole flock of great-tailed grackles. And the tail is just, it's incredible. I mean, you know, it's in the name. I just thought it was, there was just something about it that was just so cool to me. So that was a really fun spot. Anyways, now that I'm back home, I got 2 herbs while I was there because I was looking at the forecast. We're supposed to get rain tomorrow or tonight at some point. I don't know. We're in a tornado watch, so I'm assuming precipitation is somewhere in there. But I bought 2 herbs while I was at the store because they're starting to put plants out, and I think I was just eager to buy something too, plant-wise. So I got lemon variegated thyme is what I think it's called. I know it's lemon thyme of some kind, but I think the one I got specifically is lemon variegated thyme. And I had 2 plants of those in my last year's garden, and neither one of them came back, which is weird for thyme to not come back. So I knew I was gonna have to get another one. It's an amazing smelling plant. It's probably my favorite scent in my garden besides the milkweed, the swamp milkweed. When that comes up, that flower is my favorite scent in the entire world. It's such a unique smell to know, and it just feels like a little secret to me. So I love me some swamp milkweed flower. But I digress. I got lemon variegated thyme, and I got rosemary. I don't know what variety of rosemary. It doesn't last here over winter, so, you know, I just get whatever. And I figured I'd get a jump on that. We are still, what's today? 16th, 17th? I think today's the 17th. So we're just shy of a month away from our average last frost date here in zone 5B, 6A. So it's about May 15th is our average last frost date. But honestly, the weather has been so fair. The extended forecast is not showing any freezing temps. I'm not gonna go crazy, but I actually might. I'm just, you know, if we have the weather to start planting and the forecast looks okay, I might start a few things as long as I don't start all of my seeds, because I'm starting everything from seeds this year. I don't think I've expressed this in any previous video that I've done. I don't think I've had an opportunity to, but I normally go ham on seed starting. Like, my entire house is covered in trays. They all get leggy, like they end up doing okay. But when it comes time to planting all of that in my garden, it's a lot of work. It's a really huge amount of work to plant an entire garden that's intensely planted, and it's 1,800 square feet, and I'm doing it all by myself. And inevitably stuff dies in the trays, and I'm trying to avoid stressing myself out from the seed starting. Even though I do enjoy doing it, it is a lot of work, you know, in the springtime, and I've been busy enough that I didn't need to add seed starting to my list this year. But that means I'm direct sowing everything, which is not like me, and I feel perpetually behind this year because I only started my onions from seed early because they do need, you know, a lot more time to grow. But I feel very, very behind, and so I'm just really eager to get my hands in the garden so I can get that going. And I'm hoping it works out. I'm hoping it all works out this year. I'm really hoping that direct sowing just gives me healthier plants, because I've had a really crappy gardening season 2 years in a row, and it's been okay because I live in an agricultural area. So, you know, you can go to farmers markets, you can get fresh fruits and vegetables from the store. Like, there's plenty of options to get produce in the area. So I utilize that instead of producing my own. But this economic situation that we're in, I really want to be preserving a lot of stuff. I really now is not the time for games. So I really want to have a productive garden this year, and I'm hoping that I do, but I would like to get a jump start on it. So I'm going to start some stuff. Maybe some of my less important tomatoes I'll direct sow, or at least I'll start working on getting my garden beds prepped. I do need to go through. I switch up my garden layout almost every single year. I plant directly in the ground for that exact reason, because I have not found a singular garden layout that I like. Or not to say that I don't like, but I just like changing things up every year. You know, every year there's something where I'm like, I would do that differently. And I like having that flexibility. So I basically just mark out the garden beds with like random stones or just like junk that's been left in my yard by the previous owner. I don't know. They had random pavers and bricks and chunks of concrete and all kinds of stuff. So I use that to mark out the beds. Or if I run out of stuff like that, I do also use logs. I bring in logs from my parents' property. They have some wooded area and they have lots of down trees. So bring in logs from my parents' property, or I will actually just get 2 different colors of mulch, and I'll use one color for the pathways and I'll use the other color for the garden beds. And so visually you can tell the difference. So those are some of the ways that I changed up my garden, but I did change my garden up a little bit this year. I don't know if I have my garden plans on me. But yeah, I'm switching up my garden layout. Not crazy, but the bed sizes are changing, and I do rotational grazing. I do crop rotation as well. So things will be changing their spots as they should. So I am going to go outside. I don't record when I'm outside because there's always my neighbors outside and it's awkward. It's awkward. This YouTube channel is still very much my secret. Really, only my best friend knows. I don't know. It's just like, yeah, I don't know. I kind of have a complex about it, which, you know, it says more about me than it does about them, but it's still, I think it's still cringy in my opinion. Other people doing it, I wouldn't care, but like for me personally, I think it's really cringy to be recording in public. So that, and they're always like, the kids are always outside on either side, and you know, they both play basketball, so they both are bouncing basketballs all the time or screaming at each other or just being kids, you know. And I'm not going to tell kids to stop being kids outside, especially if they're outside. So yeah, the audio situation is not great out there for me to be talking anyways, so I'll probably for the foreseeable future be like talking you through what I'm doing, and then I'll show you, or maybe just show you and not talk at all. Sometimes I prefer that because I talk a lot. Like, it's already been 9 minutes. Embarrassing. All right, I'm gonna go plant the 2 herbs. I fear I'm gonna have to explain this too, sorry. I am moving my herbs. My herbs are currently within my vegetable garden, and they're just kind of in the way. I don't know, they don't do great there. I kind of put them there because I planted mint in the ground, because I always do, because I'm a rebel without a cause. But it's not, I don't know, I just want it in a different spot, and I have a garden area outside of my fenced-in garden that originally I just like mass planted zinnias, and it was beautiful, and I would love to do something like that this year, so stay tuned. I would really like to get back to that, like a lot. But I used to have this huge zinnia garden, and it was beautiful, and it brought in all kinds of pollinators, and I would save my own seeds from it. And then eventually I just had a bad year for zinnias, and I didn't get like any seed from it, which is a huge bummer. And so I'm basically starting from scratch. But I've since converted that garden space into more of like a kind of like a medicinal and herb garden. And I do have my roses in there, but obviously roses can be used medicinally as well. But yeah, it's kind of like my fruits, my perennial herbs, my roses, just kind of like a catch-all, but with an undertone of medicinal or herbal use. So I'm starting to transplant all of those out of my vegetable garden into the space that they're going to be. I've transplanted my garlic chives, which were in like a horrible shady spot for years. They never did anything. I don't think they've ever flowered even. Those poor chives have just been struggling to survive. So I finally moved them into full sun. I've never seen them look so beautiful. Who knew plants needed sunshine and water? So I'm working on transplanting all the herbs today, or some of the herbs rather, because I think it makes sense to get a head start on it if we're gonna get some rain. I have all my buckets out on my downspouts that I can capture from. It's really one of my main goals this year to get a water storage system in place for rainwater, because what a wasted resource for it to just, all run down my downspouts into bare areas of my yard. So I would really like to I'm just gonna get I think they're called IBC totes. They're used for transporting like mass amounts of liquid. I'm gonna get food grade ones. I think I'm gonna get 2 because you can stack them. So I think I'm gonna get 2, and then I'm gonna capture some rainwater. I would like to make a water pump, preferably a portable one. That'd be really nice. I know I follow Simple Living Alaska, and I know that they have one. And I was just thinking maybe if I take a peek at that, I can reverse engineer it myself. But we'll see. Anyways, I'm gonna go plant. I'm gonna just bop around my garden like I always do probably. And yeah, I probably won't catch up with you tonight because I can't imagine I'll have anything to say. I've talked enough today already. But maybe I'll see you tomorrow or whenever I feel called. It's very dark here. Excuse my fan. It's hot, and I really don't like to turn on the air conditioning until I really have to. But I don't know what it's doing. There's a huge front. It's really cool because there's a very clear demarcation of like blue sky, black. So that's really cool. But it's looking like it's going around us. It looks like it's going much more northeast than where I am. So while we're not getting any rain, I'm actually gonna go throw some seed out. So I'm just gonna take my herbs out there, and I suppose I should probably take some. I use popsicle sticks with an oil base paint marker to mark my plants. So I should probably do that before I throw some seed out. Here, there. But yeah, I'm gonna go do that and, take advantage of the opportunity to get free watering of my plants.